In this video, we're going to take the Mevo Plus. We're going to just go through a couple scenarios I've been asked or read online and go through those lighting scenarios that come up because I think there's some confusion out there of what it actually should be doing. This is a unit that I've used for a couple of months now. This one for sure works, so we're going to use this one to show it off. Hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna do a little bit of talk about the Mevo Plus here today. I've had so many questions and comments about it. I've had a chance to use it for a little bit. I've had a chance to make a couple go bad. I will admit I've sent a few back, but when we first got the units, we were testing them. We were working with Flight Scope to try to figure out some things. So kind of as their test dummy on some of this stuff, seeing what would cause some problems. So have had a little bit of experience with what's going on and want to go over some things. Before we do that, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. We're going to be back outside here shortly working with the Mevo Plus, trying to work on outside shots, on course stuff, see what we get with it, see what we can and can't do with the unit. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you're a subscriber. Also, if you're interested in online coaching, we have launched our online coaching programs. Click the link down below. You will be able to see those. We have our online personal training programs and also some group intensives coming up. Make sure you don't miss out on those. With that, let's start getting into this Mevo Plus. So I want to give a shout out first to Johnny K, who is in, I'm going to say Johnny K because I am not going to try to pronounce his last name, but he's in the Facebook Mevo Plus forum. He also has been shooting me some information that he has had, and he's kind of seeing some of the same stuff. So he recommended, he has a great video about this that I will link below, and you should watch that one as well. I wanted to do this too because I get a lot of questions about what's going on with the unit. So let's start off first with a unit here. I've had this unit off charge for a couple of days now. I kind of wanted to let the battery run down because I think that's something that you'll see as a major problem when you're trying to start it up. If you're kind of like, hey, what's going on? That's usually where it comes in. In my experience is that, hey, the unit just needs to charge for a few minutes and then it'll be back to normal. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna start it up and show you what it looks like when you start it up normally. So if I press and hold the button, you hear it beep, blue light comes on, then you get the red light. That's actually the battery light telling me right off the bat that it is low on battery. So it's at the very end, and then it's gonna go through its blue and green flashes here. That's its startup sequence, and it beeps while it does that. And it'll do that for a few seconds as you go. And you hear it do that double beep, and then you're gonna see the blue light on the far left side of the unit come on, and you're gonna have a blue, green, and then whatever the battery power level, you're gonna see that come on, and then you're basically ready to go. You're ready to connect it. You should see the Wi-Fi signal pop up on your computer or on your Apple device or Android now if you're using those. But you should be able to see that and be able to connect to it. Now, what do we need to see as we go through? Here's where some of the stuff starts to happen as I talk with people. It always comes from a power standpoint. The thing that they always see is they see this red light that is starting to blink, and then the unit won't turn on. They just get this flashing red light. And so when I see that, what happens is the unit doesn't have enough power in its battery to turn on. That's what I see. It's similar to like if you have an iPhone. If you ever have drained it all the way down, which I know I have, and it shuts off, you have to plug it in. You get that little indicator saying plug it in. You have to plug it in, charge it for a few minutes, and then you can turn it on even though it's plugged in. It's kind of the same idea there. That's what I see with mine as I'm going through. If I ever just have it sitting for a few days, I need to charge it and go from there. Now, I will say this, I don't keep mine charging other than using the battery pack to charge, which is nice because it will drain the battery pack and then it will stop charging. I never really leave it charging all the time. I just don't do that because I am worried about how the battery works and how everything's going. I don't want to fry anything. Again, I've had some of that experience, but let's go ahead, let's start plugging it in. So again, for those that haven't seen this yet, this is the absolute key, and it's brutal because this cord is only 6 inches, 8 inches long, whatever it is. It's imperative that you use this cord that comes from FlightScope. If you don't use it, what happens is you're going to fry. It's almost a guarantee that you will fry this unit. Okay, you will fry it. So when we go through that startup sequence like we just were, and you can see I'm flashing now, meaning I'm really getting low on battery. But if you were to go through that startup sequence, it just would keep doing it. It would never beep and then be sitting quiet like this. It just keeps going and going. If that happens, unfortunately, all we know that you can do is send it back. So you have to take this cord, you have to use it, you have to use the power brick that comes with it. And one thing I would say, I would not use a surge protector. That would come straight from FlightScope. And I've heard a couple of people that have had issues plugging in a cord with this brick into a surge protector. Doesn't seem to work very good, and FlightScope told me the same thing. I had tried it into a surge protector. I got the beeps as well. I had to send that particular unit back. That's something you have to do or pay attention to. I mean, this is the way to go if you want to keep the unit working and have it running on power. Plus, if you've heard me in the past, I mean, it's the way you have to do it, but it is my favorite way to run the unit anyway. So I've got it plugged in, I've got it going. We're going to plug in, and what you will see is you're going to see it flash yellow, and then it's going to start flashing blue, meaning it is charging. Okay, and this is when we are saying, all right, hey, we are good to go and we're ready to roll. So again, I think most of the issues I see is that red light starts flashing. That is a battery light. If it gets too low, you have to charge it up a little bit before you can even turn the unit on, just like you do with a phone or an iPad. So just keep that in mind. And again, when you're using the power pack, why do I love this particular power pack? I know you can get bigger ones and stuff, because I just do this, and that's just such a clean look, and we're good to go. I can play for about 5 hours with this power pack, and then what will happen is the power pack will drain, and then it kicks into the internal battery, and then it'll run out that battery in about 90 minutes. That's on E6, and so that's where we get 4.5, 5 to 5.5 hours of play, depending on kind of how intense it is and all of that. So really does work good. And then I actually have 2 of these, because if I ever needed longer than that, I could just swap them out and be ready to roll. So that's how I do it. Again, I also love it when you do this power pack. If you charge your unit with this, okay, if let's say I play it on E6, what I do is I plug this in and let it go, and it will drain this power pack all the way down. The unit will be fully charged, this will die, and then when I come back the next day, I can just go plug this in, unit's fine, it's all fully charged. I have the second one that I use, and I can plug in with that, but usually this will be charged in time before I need to charge up again anyway. So that's something you can do with this too, as we go. So from there, if we needed to, just taking it off, there's a couple of things that I see. Again, this is how it's supposed to work. This is a good unit that works. So trying to show you some of the ways that it should work. So if I just turn off the power on the unit, it just again will start flashing red again, because there is no power. Right now it's just flashing yellow as it changes over. So it's just kind of telling us, hey, we're changing over the battery type, and then it'll start flashing red again as we go. I think it's flashing yellow right now because I do have a little bit of power in it, but we'll keep going. Now I'll turn it back on. We'll see it saying, all right, hey, you've got a yellow, and then it's going to switch back to blue, meaning it is charging. What will you see when you know the unit's charged? You're gonna see all 4 of these lights. It's gonna keep charging up. You'll see blues as you're going, and as you go further, you're gonna see all the lights turn green. That's when you know it's charged, and then you can keep running it on the battery if you wanna keep that charge, or you can take it off and then let the internal battery kick in. So one of the things that also has been brought up that we're trying to recreate, so I'd be interested to see how people are doing this and what their plug-in setup is, but using this power pack, I'm going to just unplug it. It's still turned on, and again, the light just switches to the red. Again, we're not flashing because we're not as low, but that's what I get as we do that, and then we continue on. All right, so let's go over a couple of the indicator lights when the unit is off. So right now, obviously it's off, there's no lights on. So I've got my battery pack, I'm going to plug it in. Now my battery pack, even when it's off, if you plug it in, it will turn on. So again, kind of one of the nice things about these power packs that you use. It's gonna run through no startup sequence here. It is gonna flash red and let you know where the battery is, or show you that red indicator light saying, hey, this is what the battery currently is at. But then what you're gonna get at this point is you're just gonna have it go through its charging cycle. So right now we've only got our lowest battery light on, so it's charging its way through. As time goes, you'll see more and more lights light up, and then you'll be good to go. As we go through this further, you know, if I turn this, take this out, I'll see it flash red, again indicating where the battery is at, and then it beeps, just letting you know that, hey, it's off completely, nothing's happening. So that's what we get with that as we're going through this device and those indicator lights. All right, so we've let it go for a few minutes here. It's been about 15 minutes, and you can already see we've charged up to now where we are on the 4th block here that is flashing. So we're getting close to a full charge. So again, you can see as those blue lights go, because it's blue lights, the unit is off. So we shouldn't see anything happen when I unplug it, other than it will indicate it to us again where we're at. You can see the green lights, and then it will shut off. Now if I start the unit up, we'll go through this whole startup thing. You're gonna see our green lights flashing now, letting us again know where the battery is at, and then it's gonna go through its normal startup. That's why it's flashing blue and green on the end. That's where you're gonna start seeing this, and it'll go through its normal startup. We've got the unit started up, ready to roll. All right, so we got the unit started up. Again, you can see the green lights. We are basically at a full charge. Probably saw it's probably just a little less because it was still charging as we go, but we're pretty close to full. That's if you don't have the FlightScope app going, where you can actually see the battery percentage in the app. But again, one of the things I think that gets a little bit confusing as you're looking at the unit, I know for me, it's been a lot of trial and error. You have the book that comes with it, but I think until you see it in action and you see it in certain situations, you don't really know what's going on. And you know, to be honest, with what's been going on with the units, it starts freaking you out a little bit as what you go on. I've luckily had, you know, the Mevo for several years now, the original one, and you had to learn all of these little lights on the top, and you had to learn what was going on, you know, with the batteries and stuff. And they do have it labeled, but it's not as clear. And it was a little bit of a learning curve with that. So you got to see at least what you're looking at. Now, with that said, as it travels through this, by the way, there is a yellow segment. When it's about half full, it will turn to yellow. And so if you do just see these battery indicator lights turn to yellow, without the 4 lights all lighting up, that means it's just at that particular level of battery power. So just something to look at as well as what you're going through. So this is how it's kind of meant to work. Hopefully you see some of this stuff and you're like, oh no, something's wrong. This helps you figure out, hey, what is really going on? Let's talk a couple of things that I've heard of and seen. The first one's gonna be, what's something I've had happen? Now, we've actually been pretty good. Again, when I've used this power pack, this happens so rarely. And again, it's usually because the battery on the unit is low. I will have it when I plug this thing in where it will flash that red light, like the battery is low. If you ever are worried, if you're thinking, hey, it shouldn't be low, all you have to do is unplug it, let it kind of reset, and then you plug it back in, and then it's good to go. I've never had, it's happened like once or twice, then I do that, and then everything's fine. So I would just recommend doing that. I've had it happen a couple times, but never anything that's detrimented the unit or anything going on. And trust me, I've made enough of these units not work to know that when it's not working. So the other thing is, let's talk a little bit about the power brick and plugging it in. I think at this point, the best solution is either going with a power brick. I have not had a single issue, and like you saw, I love putting it under the unit, not having to run cords everywhere. That's my favorite way. There has been good reports, and this has also been recommended by FlightScope, their development team, that you just use a good outdoor extension cord or a good extension cord that's nice and thick. You know, I think we all know what we're talking about with that, and just plug into that straight into a wall. They actually recommend that you don't use a surge protector. I'm learning if they recommend it, don't do it. You're not going to get by it. So that's when you have these issues with the unit, just doing a bunch of restarts. And what happens is this startup circuit actually gets fried, so it won't start up properly. So that's the best two things that we've heard that have worked consistently. Again, my favorite one, I would say I've had no issues with this, is using the power brick, but I've heard good things with using the extension cord. Again, long, very, very thick extension cord is going to work best, and then plugging it straight into a wall, not into a surge protector, that's going to help as well. All right, so that's running through this unit. I hope this helps a little bit as we're going through. Again, just had so many questions about, hey, what does this mean? What does this mean? I'm getting this. Is my unit broken? I think there's just a lot of people kind of in that boat of, once you hear that one thing's wrong for a couple of people, everybody starts seeing it and thinking that theirs is wrong too. So again, have had a lot of testing with this. Hopefully it's helped FlightScope make it better. And I know it's helped me learn a lot about it as well, as we were working with these right off the bat. So let me know if you have any questions about your unit. If you have any specific situations that have come up with your unit, please let us know in the comments. We're trying to find those out, and we will investigate it for you, see if we can help you out with it, and go from there. Thank you everybody for watching this video. If you're not a subscriber already, please click that subscribe button down below. Thanks again. Stay safe, everybody, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.